Joining us now is Republican Vice Presidential hopeful Indiana Governor Mike Pence. Welcome. It's nice to have you here, Governor.
Thank you, John.
Before we talk about this latest revelation in the FBI server case, let's step back for a minute. Both you and Donald Trump think that this was wrongly decided in July when Director Comey found no evidence of an exchange of classified information. Whose fault is it that it was wrongly decided?
Well, I think that's really an open question, but ultimately the director of the FBI's decision
So was it his
this
fault?
last July to not go forward with recommending charges was deeply troubling to millions of Americans, and us included. I mean, it followed on the heels of when former President Clinton met on a private aircraft with the Attorney General. Then days later, you had the director of the FBI literally lay out a case of the mishandling of classified information on a private server that Hillary Clinton operated while she was Secretary of State, and had a private family foundation taking money from foreign corporations and foreign countries. And then 2 days later, the director of the FBI went to Capitol Hill and literally undercut his own decision by confirming to the Congress that what Hillary Clinton had said about classified information was not true, that she had emailed classified information, that in fact there had been emails marked classified. So I think it was deeply troubling to millions of Americans, but we commend the FBI and the director on their decision to keep their word to the Congress and move forward.
Here's what's confusing, though. Troubling is it kind of allows you to be in both places without saying it's exactly somebody's fault. Because you're alleging also the Attorney General put pressure on the FBI director, which is a pretty strong claim, well, and that changed his mind. I mean, do you think it changed his mind? He was going to go and bring charges, but he changed his mind because the Attorney General put pressure on him?
Well, John, I'm not alleging that. You just suggested it. I really don't know.
Why bring up the meeting with Clinton then?
Well, I think because the meeting itself was very troubling to millions of Americans.
But what does troubling mean?
It was, because of an industrious local TV reporter, you found out that former President Clinton got on a private aircraft, had a private clandestine meeting with the Attorney General just days before the FBI decided not to recommend charges in a case where we have a four-star general today who's facing very serious legal consequences for mishandling classified information. And yet here again we see a double standard where the American people believe that there's a different standard for Hillary Clinton and for the Clintons than there is for the rest of us. But what the decision this week showed is, even 11 days before an election, no one is above the law. The FBI director has stepped forward, kept his word to the Congress and the American people, and told us there's more information, and an investigation is now reopened.
You say it's troubling. Mr. Trump has said he will investigate Hillary Clinton if he is made president, have his Justice Department investigate her. Would a part of that investigation be this meeting between the Attorney General and Bill Clinton as a part of the investigation of Hillary Clinton?
Well, I think that
if it's troubling, it seems like it's worthy of investigation.
Well, I think at the end of the day, the American people have a right to know why, when she was Secretary of State in charge of all of our foreign policy and operating a private foundation taking money from foreign governments, why she had a private server.
But I'm talking about the meeting between the Attorney General and Bill Clinton that you've mentioned twice. Is that worthy of investigation?
Well, no, I think that the mishandling of classified information in this case, which is a violation of the law for any other American, is worthy of investigation.
Let me ask you this.
But let's be clear about this issue. Remember, Hillary Clinton refused to turn over 33,000 emails. And I truly do believe that as we approach this election, Hillary Clinton ought to turn over those 33,000 emails to the public, to the press, and let the American people fully examine the correspondence of her record and her communications about that foundation and all the other work.
Trump campaign manager Kellyanne Conway said, quote, "Suggesting Comey is a partisan interfering with the electorate is dangerous and unfair." She's talking about the Clinton campaign, which is going after Comey. But Donald Trump has been going after the Comey and the Justice Department on this issue for the last 4 months. So was that also, as Kellyanne Conway says, dangerous and unfair?
I think that questioning the decision by the Federal Bureau of Investigation this summer is something that millions of Americans have done, and Donald Trump has expressed that frustration of millions of Americans, John.
But he said it's politically motivated, which she says is dangerous and unfair. So it sounds like she's calling out the Clintons for doing exactly what Donald Trump has been doing.
No, John, what we're seeing now is the old playbook of the politics of personal destruction that the Clintons have rolled out throughout their career, and they're targeting the director of the FBI and questioning his personal integrity.
But these are Donald Trump's words.
What Donald
Governor,
Trump and I
these are
have
Donald
talked
Trump's
about.
words. This is a disgusting example of just how badly career politicians have rigged the system. That's a shot. That's taking a shot at the FBI and Director Comey for that original decision.
Well, that original decision was really incomprehensible to millions. I mean, to arrive at a place where even in his testimony before the Congress and in that long press conference that he gave, John, that literally Hillary Clinton had classified information on a private server that she said she didn't have, that she emailed classified information that she said she didn't do. All of these things misrepresented, mishandling classified information, and then to conclude that she was simply extremely careless and there would be no recommending of charges. That, to me, is the kind of double standard that the American people are weary of. But I think people are very encouraged by the decision this week.
Let me ask you.
By the FBI to say we have a large volume, that as is being reported in the press, a large volume of new information, and we're going to investigate it in a thorough and timely way.
Let me ask you another question. 21 million people have voted. Is there any real evidence that this election is being stolen based on what you all and the Trump team has been watching as this voting's gone underway?
Well, I don't think there's been a suggestion about it being stolen as much as, frankly,
Mr. Trump said if he lost Pennsylvania, it would only be if it was stolen. He used that word.
Well, let me say that when Donald Trump and I have talked about a rigged system, the documented overwhelming bias among many in the national media, got a lot of respect for you, John, a lot of people in the national media with an overwhelming negative coverage of Donald Trump gives the American people the feeling that the national media gets up every day and does half of Hillary Clinton's work for her. But we also know that voter fraud has happened in polling places and precincts around the country. And we're just calling on every American to find a way to respectfully participate in their local election process to ensure that when we achieve that victory on November the 8th, it's also a victory for American democracy.
You've said Republicans should come home. Why aren't they coming home yet? It's close to the end.
Well, Donald Trump has a message to make America great again that's reached out to millions of independents in this country who are tired of gridlock in Washington, D.C. Frankly, he's appealed to millions of Democrats around this country who are tired of trade deals, shipping jobs overseas, and liberal policies. But look, after a 17-way Republican primary, there's some differences and some tensions within our party. But, my message as I traveled around the country this week is that it's time for Republicans to come home, to elect the Trump-Pence team, time for Republicans to come home and re-elect Republican majorities in the Congress, and time to come home to make sure that not only for this week's news, but for a stronger military, a stronger economy, a Supreme Court that upholds our Constitution, that we ensure that Hillary Clinton is never elected President of the United States.
All right, Governor Mike Pence, thanks so much for being with us. Good luck out there.
Thank you, John.